call it raclette, that you melt the cheese. It's the typically the raclette cheese that comes from the Valais. And traditionally, they melted it in front of the fireplace. And then we have developed also enriched raclette, where we have also some ham and dried meat and together with the cheese and always potatoes, a glass of white wine or fondant. So this embassy building has a special story. Switzerland was here since the 70s in the same environment where we are now. So in 2012 we had an architecture competition. It was really an open competition and all the projects had a code name. And the code name of this project was Swiss Hanok. I think it's a fantastic realization of bringing together Korean and Swiss architectural elements. So at the end it was a Swiss architect, Nicolas Vaucher, and then he studied also the palace architecture, he saw the height, and so he also developed the Swiss Hanok. We have 3 floors, it's not only 1 floor. Traditionally, often you have only 1 floor in Hanoks. And he saw also how in Hanok architecture you have always this courtroom. I think you call it the madang. And then you have often also, like behind you, there's a window, and we call it borrowing the landscape. That you have also, like in Hanok, you open up and then you have this beautiful nature of Korea coming into the house. The wood, for example, comes from the Alps, from Europe. So and also his approach, also using sustainable architecture, sustainable technology. We are very happy with this building and thank you so much for coming here. All our new buildings, they must have geothermic, they must have renewable energy. So we have here geothermic, we have solar panels, we have reusing of rainwater. Together with the Republic of Korea, we are part of the Environmental Integrity Group. This is a negotiation group, together we are 6 countries. So we have there also a special connection between Switzerland and the Republic of Korea. The Business Hub, for example, participated at Core Marine last year. You say Switzerland is a landlocked country, but we have a lot of marine technology companies from in engineering and also machine industry, and they're in the supply chain of the shipyarding. So very innovative. Switzerland is now also in the UN Security Council, and climate change and security is also one of the big issues, one of our priority issues we are working on. So it's really part. I think you cannot anymore say climate change is a theme on its own. It's really integrated in everything. It's integrated in our way of working. It's integrated how our architecture is presenting, and it's integrated in all our projects we are developing. We had the wonderful Alps in Korea in the Seoul Art Center. We had really Korean and Swiss musicians playing together. Art Sonje organized a big exhibition of Heidi Bucher. And her sons also came for the inauguration, Mayo and Ingido Bucher. Heidi Bucher was a Swiss artist. She has passed away quite early, but she worked in the 70s very much on the question also of women emancipation, especially in Switzerland. That was a very important time. So in culture spaceless, a space where people can come to visit the embassy. We connected then together with photographers from ECAL, from the Lausanne School of Art and Design, and here young Korean photographers, and they worked together. Also they met each other, they worked together on this theme spaceless. And then it had a great success. And so that's why Gwangju Biennale asked then to bring this to a Swiss pavilion. And I must say, and that is an occasion to explain how wonderful it was to work with Korean partners, how much reach out we had. So for us, for an embassy, that was very special. So our science technology office, we are 5 people here, they're working. So they have a very strong approach to connect universities. And Kimchi is, for example, it's a program engineering for aging society. So they have bring together engineers and designers from Swiss and Korean universities. And sometimes it's also an intercultural approach, because seniors in Korea have different habits than seniors in Switzerland. A highlight here in the embassy was the Innovation Week. We have a very strong cooperation in quantum and biotech and life science. So this is really a very important part of our activity of the embassy. I think one important element I have to add here, when we had last year the 60 years, our Minister of Science and Technology, who is also the Minister of Commerce, came. And the Minister of Science, Lee, was here too for our diplomatic reception. And they signed also a memorandum of understanding, an agreement, because we have since a long time a science agreement, but now they added a special agreement that we work more together in biotechnology, in digitalization and quantum technology. And then in the second half, we had the Swiss Design Days. We had about fashion, sustainable fashion. We had about product and industrial design. And we had also about graphic design. There is also this link between Switzerland and Korea, showing the Helvetica typeface, as it is also used internationally, as it was used during already the Olympics here in Seoul in 1988. But then also they showed a development of Helvetica for Hangul language, and it's called Swiss 60, because we have now just the 60 years of diplomatic relations. In 2022, the Mayor of Basel, Beat Jans, and the Mayor of Seoul, Mayor Oh, they signed a city partnership between Basel and Seoul. So Basel participated last year, also during our 60 years, at the Seoul Biennale of Architecture and Urbanism as a guest city. We had a little pavilion where they show also the link to nature, like you have here in Seoul, mountain and river, and here in Basel especially how they integrated the river into the city life. We had also a pavilion of Accademia di Mendrisio, so we had also the Italian part of Switzerland being present here. There is the Life Science Initiative, also together with the Ministry of Health. We have every year Life Science Day. We work very much also in quantum since last year. President Yoon visited last year ETH Zurich and visited in January the Quantum Lab. And then as a consequence, quantum was also part of our Innovation Week. Now our Innovation Week will have this year in May the theme of digital trust, because it is digitalization linked also is part of our everyday life, like sustainability. It is really part of our everyday life, but so much happening in digitalization and happening also linked to the media and also digital self-determination. So we have already 4 national languages in Switzerland: German, French, Italian and Romansh. I can speak the 3 official languages of the federal level. This is German, French and Italian. These are the 3 languages we use also in the federal administration, and all our laws and all our communications, public communications, are all published in these 3 languages. English is then the language, for us it's an easy language to add. It would be much more complicated for me to add Korean, because Korean is not an easy language to learn. But I must say, it does not help to speak the other languages to learn Korean. So, but I think it's wonderful. I really liked to start learning it, also to understand the structure and to read the alphabet. So I've learned to read the alphabet, and that you have also different levels of speaking it. So how you address people. I think this is also very interesting to understand that there are different ways. And from my background, I'm a typically Swiss diplomat. that I started in 1997 to work for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Also, we have, as a quite a small country, 140 representations around the world. So, as a diplomat in Switzerland, you must be very versatile. So, when I was in Senegal, that's why I was responsible for 6 countries. At that time, you need to have a flexible also approach to our work because we are not a very big staff of diplomats. When I was young, I studied international relations. So I did this study because I had the idea, I wanted to be not only as a diplomat, but connecting internationally. That was something I already had in my mind when I chose my studies. But then I did a PhD linked to political philosophy about the fresco cycle of Ambrogio Lorenzetti in Siena. And then I thought it's very interesting because it's 14th century Italy, city-states, and it was coming out of the Middle Ages, creating again political societies that are based on law and not like in the feudal time where you had societies based on interpersonal relations. Then I said, okay, do I now do the diplomatic concours or do I continue in more historical or social or art studies? And I said, no, I will do the diplomatic concours. It comes the interest for societies, how they shape themselves, how state building, how governance is functioning. At the end, comes again together. So it's really something I'm very much interested in. We will have now this year the Innovation Week, as I said, on digital trust. We had with Korea political dialogue in the past. Now we want to also continue also the exchanges between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We will have also our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we have also digital foreign policy. So our ambassador for digital foreign policy has already also announced that he will be part of our Innovation Week. Last year we also worked with the ambassador for science, Ambassador Shin. So we try to bring in that also in institutional contacts between Switzerland and Korea. Here as an embassy, we will especially try to promote more also maybe a parliamentarian visit. And we continue our work. I think it's very important. We have here a very good staff, and we see it. There's continuity in life science, biotech, now newly coming in quantum. I'm always having a personal goal when I am an ambassador responsible for a geographic entity, like here now the Republic of Korea. And I started out quite early, is really to not know only the capital, but move out the capital. So I visited already a lot part of the East Coast. I was also in the South Coast, also little places like Gangjin or Tongyong. I saw the tea fields in Bosong. There was a big conference, so I visited also Mokpo and then the island where Kim Dae-jung was born. I must say Korea, it is very well placed geographically. When you want to visit around Asia, Korea is like a very good platform, and Korea also as a country in that sense is a very good platform to connect. I want to thank Asia Society for all what you do, also for us, for the diplomatic community, but also for me personally, inviting me. I like youth. I think everybody of us likes youth, but I'm very happy also to work together with young people, and I think it's always interesting, the mix of generation. You know, we talked about diversity, different languages. I think diversity in all way of society and mixing young and different generations.